this is my favorite week of the year, every single year. It's Masters Week, the greatest golf tournament that comes around every single year. And part of the reason that I love the Masters so much is that it's traditional.
Yeah.
There are things that are at the Masters that you can count on that you're going to get every year. Every Wednesday, just as there was today, there's a par 3 contest. There's always a champions dinner on Tuesday where all the champions go. Every time you go there, you can expect there to be perfectly manicured grass and flowers, azaleas and dogwoods and all these things that you can count on. And one of those things is always concessions. The Masters is known for their very cheap concessions and their very tasty concessions. They sell pimento cheese sandwiches everyone loves. They're like $1.50. Just very famous, kind of like a cult following sort of thing for these Masters menu items.
Yeah.
And one of the most popular menu items on the menu is a Georgia peach ice cream sandwich. The Masters takes place in Georgia every year, and so they want to honor, the state that they're in, which is known for peaches. And so they have this Georgia peach ice cream sandwich, which the menu itself has a following, but the Georgia peach ice cream sandwich has, I would say, even more of a cult following than the menu itself. It's like the thing that everyone wants to get when they go to the Masters. That and the pimento cheese sandwich are like the two things.
Sure.
And I've had it. It's very delicious. And I'll tell you what's in it. It's a sugar cookie.
Oh, man.
It's ice cream with peaches in it. And it's another sugar cookie on the bottom.
Oh, gosh.
So that, tasty, but hardly complicated.
No,
you would say.
no.
Pretty much 3 things, ice cream, peaches, and cookies that you would think in a developed country you would be able to get with ease. Apparently that's not the case, as the concessions workers at the Masters this year have been having to break the news to people that they do not have the Georgia peach ice cream sandwich this year because of supply chain issues.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, that the Masters is held in Georgia, right? And the peaches are supposed to come from Georgia, and they still can't get it. Like, that's an in-state thing, and the supply chain is so messed up that they can't get what they need for it. I mean, that's pretty alarming. And again, we contrast that with the event yesterday at the White House, talking about Obamacare, when we have stuff like this going on. I mean, this is a real life. I mean, you guys may think, oh, it's a sports thing, it's golf. The supply chain's not that important for that. But it's a representation of a very real problem that Joe Biden is not addressing.
Well, I think that's actually very important because I wrote an article on it yesterday, as you said. The first half of the article, I would say, was dramatized for comedic effect, as you may do. And so I think it would be easy, and that a lot of people on Twitter as well were reacting, like, oh, this is ruining the tournament. We don't get the sandwich. Like, okay, the tournament's not over. It's still going to go on. Like, it's not the end of the world. But what I talked about in the second half of the article is that this is a serious issue, and it has implications that are far beyond, a peach ice cream sandwich. I think I saw some people on Twitter saying, another golf.com wrote an article on it as well, and I saw some people responding to their article saying, this is in such poor taste. Like, this is so terrible, and, like, it's so tone deaf. I'm like, I think you're missing the point. I'm not... Like, the reason to me that this is a big story is not because they can't get Georgia peach ice cream sandwiches. The reason is that it highlights we are living in America, and yet we can't get basic necessities. And we have a president who's going out in press conferences and saying, we're going to have food shortages. It's going to come up. We have Ford and Chevy being unable to produce some of their most popular cars in Michigan because they can't get parts.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't write this article or bring up this subject to pretend like, woe is me because I can't get a peach ice cream sandwich. That's not the point.
That's
the
good.
point is that we can't get basic things in America, and it's going to get worse and worse. And it's already worse for people who maybe are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford to be paying more for groceries. They can't afford to be footing the bill both with inflation and also with higher prices, because when things are more rare, then they get more expensive. So, I mean, this is hurting everyday Americans. It's not just about a treat or something that you want to get. We're talking about, like, food, like basic necessities.
Yeah, and I think you make another point. Sometimes it's hard to get people to wrap their head around what's happening when you talk about things like supply chains and economics. But when you have a situation like this with the Masters, this famous food item, that's such a good way to get people in to listening. And then you tell them, it's not just about this, like you said, it's about a larger supply chain issue. So I think it's actually great that we can use this to have this conversation and bring it into a broader conversation about the supply chain issue.